Whether it's inside or outside of work vehicles, a WeatherGuard badge means pros can trust that their hard-earned name is in good hands. Since 1968 and every day since, WeatherGuard has been protecting anything it takes to build a professional reputation. WeatherGuard, established in 1968, proven every day. WeatherGuard.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me, I called ART.
Traffic volume still very light here in the Wichita area at this time. We do have just a little bit of heavy traffic, K15 and MacArthur. Watch for a slowdown there. Traffic update from 98.7 and 1330 KNSS in the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center. I'm Jad Chambers.
Weather. We may see a stray storm or two, especially east of Wichita this morning. Otherwise becoming sunny, breezy, and hot. 95, south winds 15 to 25 and gusty. Clear and warm tonight, 75 is the low. Mostly sunny, breezy, and hot Thursday, high 98. More sun and wind on Friday with a chance of our first 100-degree temperature of the summer. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake.
Wichita's most listened to sports radio. 97.5 and 1240 KFH. Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Hey Wichita, it's Jacob Albrock. Stay right there for the latest breaking in sports talk. It's Sports Daily coming up next, exclusively on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. The NFL's most ridiculous quarterback room just took another hit. You know the old saying, if you have four quarterbacks, one, that of course is the Cleveland Browns. So check that. Make that 5 with the signing of Tyler Huntley. What's it say about Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders that the healthiest of the bunch is a 40-year-old man? Never mind assessing what these dudes might be able to do on Sundays. They can't even stay on the practice field. Pickett and Gabriel have both been limited with hamstring tightness, and Sanders has experienced arm soreness. And given how few reps he's had, I didn't even know that was possible. But have no fear, QB5, Tyler Huntley is here. How long before they roll the creep Deshaun Watson out there in his wheelchair as he attempts to come back from his shredded Achilles? Teddy Bridgewater just signed with Tampa Bay because he probably took one look at this situation and said, oh, hell no. The Browns fans deserve so much better, but the Browns organization is getting exactly what it deserves. I'm Jim Rome.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Kester.
Well, hello there, everybody. Happy Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday to you here on Sports Daily. Glad to be with you. It's Jacob Albrock, Tommy Kester, Max Power back producing things for you. He's taking your calls at 869-1240. We're taking your video comments on Facebook, on YouTube, on X. Thanks also for watching us on 12 News Connected. And you can leave us voice messages on the Odyssey app. We're with you as well on the iHeartRadio app. It is getting hot out there. Perfect day to rock the Hawaiian shirt at very early in the morning hours. We're glad to be with you. You know what, Tommy? Let's get things started this morning. Feeling so festive, feeling so good. Let's get things started with a giveaway right out of the gates. How about some Swing 365 golf? How does that sound?
Yeah, we love our partnership with the folks over at Swing 365 Golf. They're on the east side of town at Central and 127th. We've got an opportunity for you to win a free week membership. It's a private golf simulator. You can go and practice, you can play, you can hang out in the privacy of this entire area. So we got a chance for you to win a free week-long membership. All you have to do is text the keyword SWING, that's SWING, to 20357, and we'll draw one winner per week.
Good luck, everybody. Message and data rates apply. You can enter once a day. You know what? It's not at 365, Swing 365.
What's
95 degrees and humid.
You're right.
So
climate controlled, air conditioned.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So good luck, everybody, on that. We'll have another giveaway. We'll give away some HTO later in the show as well. Get all kinds of fun stuff for you. Shreyas Laddha is going to join us today, our KU Insider. We will check in from KU camp, and it's all the attention's on football, rightfully so, but they are getting basketball work in, and I wonder how that's going. And Bill Self's back, I assume, back at it now after a brief little scare there with his heart again. So we'll get to the latest on all of that with Shreyas Laddha. We'll also, of course, talk Kansas City Royals as they fall again to one of baseball's best. Speaking of one of baseball's best, I wonder how this Cy Young race is shaking out, because what's appeared to be a one-horse race may actually be a three-horse race based on two performances in the American League that we saw. We'll get into that later. Just curious to see what Tommy thinks about it. It's all What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, featuring free mini homemade root beer floats with any kid's meal purchase. This will run through the 4th, so you can get this deal. Through the 8th. This deal will run through Friday. It's a limited supply of WBC keepsake mini mugs that'll be given out. Hurry in, get in there today. Go have lunch. WBC, it's pizza and root beer made here. Tommy, how are you this morning?
I'm good. Today is my wedding anniversary.
Cool.
And so I think my wife and I are going to go to dinner tonight, a little kid-free dinner, which will be nice. It's kind of rare. We don't get a chance to do that very often, but looking forward to that. So that'll be fun.
How many dinners do you miss poker because of dinner? How many dinners do you guys do?
It happens every once in a while. This will be like 2 in a week, which is extremely rare. But yeah, we'll be doing that tonight. So looking forward to that.
Good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You ever forget your anniversary? You've reached that point yet?
No, my I think my wife would ensure that I never do. There are little reminders that are all over the place.
Yeah, my wife and I have both forgotten it. I think collectively at least a couple of times. We have kind of a weird one, December 5th. It's right after our oldest daughter's birthday, and the times we've forgotten, I feel like have been something to do with I think we may have opened the East HTO on our anniversary or something like that, where we've been I don't know. We've forgotten it a couple times. We've hit that point for sure. We went to Hawaii for our 10th. Other than that, we just kind of our anniversary has never jumped out to the forefront of not like my wife's birthday. We'll put it that way.
We used to do tropical vacations every year for our anniversary. We would go to Cancun and do all this, and then we had kids.
Thanks
and,
a lot, kids.
Yeah, we have not done anything like that recently. In fact, up until I think it was yesterday, we were thinking we would probably have to take the kids to dinner with us tonight. So we're like, you want to do like Red Robin to celebrate our anniversary? Because the kids like it. Free French fries, and they get a balloon on the way out. We could go and do that. But our 10th anniversary is next year. So this is number 9. So we may try to go back, try to do a tropical vacation of some sort this time next year.
Yeah, we did a big tent. That was our big one. It was great. Have you been to Hawaii? You guys have been to Hawaii?
I have. I've been to Hawaii.
It's a good spot. It's a good
Yep.
option for a 10th anniversary. We will have these things to talk about. NFL wise, I feel like we're kind of in a holding pattern. I'm telling you, we have the Micah Parsons discussion yesterday. I don't remember one more polarizing than Micah Parsons as far as these contracts go, because it feels like there's two camps. Either don't do it, or you're insane if you don't do it with this particular contract situation. Most of the time, it's more complicated than that, right? Like Terry McLaurin, I think we all feel like they got to do Terry McLaurin. Hendrickson, we kind of feel like everybody's like, they got to get Hendrickson done. This one's different. And I think it's dominated the headlines because we're still waiting on games. I get it. But I feel like this one's got people a little more divided. So we can get back into that. The NFL bans smelling salts if you're into that. But the big NFL storyline that will follow today, and we can get into this in the next segment. Jordan Addison was suspended yesterday. The Vikings wide receiver, 3-game suspension. They're calling it substance abuse policy. It was driving under the influence of alcohol. So why is that significant to us? Not that big a deal, because we're waiting on Rashee Rice. And I believe their sentences were handed down like the same day.
It was the same day. They were both, the judges in their cases finalized everything for both on the same day.
And there's been less time to process the Addison information. Granted, it's a little more cut and dry than the Rashee Rice. It's a little, well, they're both, I don't know if less serious is the right word, but in the legal system, less serious, less penalty from the actual law. So we'll watch that. I mean, that's what we're watching now. What does that mean for Rashee Rice? How does that bleed into the Chiefs? What are they thinking? Matt Nagy talked from camp yesterday. Not a lot of fascinating stuff coming from the availability of the Chiefs, but that story in particular has all of our ears perked up as it pertains to Rashee Rice. 3 games there. Is that equitable? Does it mean more for Rice? Spoiler alert, I kind of think it does. But we'll get into that on the other side. We'll talk a little NFL. We've got Royals talk coming this hour. So stick around. You can leave us your thoughts and comments on the video streams. You can give us a call. Lots of different ways to get in touch with the program. We want to say thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for getting us motivated this morning. A little bit extra all around the Odyssey stations.
Did you get a good night of sleep last night? I know you were
better
up late the other night.
Yeah,
so.
I was out by about 10:45, which is pretty good for me. That's pretty good for me. I was watching, to be perfectly honest, I was watching Padres Diamondbacks baseball for a little too long because it finished off a 4-leg parlay that I hit back-to-back nights here. Had a 3-legger on Monday night and a 4-legger on Tuesday night. We're heating back up just in time for football season. We got to keep that train rolling. Maybe I'll go the Royals today. I did not go the Royals yesterday. Usually I do throw the Royals in. I did not throw them in yesterday with that pitching matchup, which we can talk about. But when we come back, let's talk about some football. Some NFL football. We'll bounce around the storylines, including the Kansas City Chiefs. That's next on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW. KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, on a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. It's Jake Albrecht's Tommy Castor, who's not participating again this week, just for those not watching on the video
I mean,
stream.
it's a fun polo. It might not be Hawaiian in nature, but it's fun.
I don't know that you're rolling out in that and everyone's saying, this guy's ready to party. You know?
That usually is not the first thing people think of when they look at me. Let's be real honest about that.
Well, listen, we're getting closer. I'll give you that. We're getting closer. Max is, I'm sure, rocking his version of a Hawaiian, which is a tie-dye shirt, which I can appreciate. It's kind of a whole different vibe, but we're in the same galaxy with that. 869-1240 is the number to call if you want to give us a call. We're happy to take them. If you want to win a trip to see the Zach Brown Band, Love and Fear, live at the Sphere in Las Vegas this December, including a 2-night stay in a suite at the Venetian Resort Las Vegas, the only hotel directly connected to the Sphere. You can enter the national contest right now. Just download the Odyssey app, listen to KFH for at least an hour. You can learn more about the contest, odyssey.com/Zach. Thanks to the Messina Touring Group for giving that one to us there. So good luck on that one as well, everybody. If you have the Odyssey app, you've probably seen the push alert on that one. It pays to listen to Sports Daily and KFH. All right, let's start, Tommy, in our NFL conversations today with the Jordan Addison story yesterday. So Addison was popped for 3 games, DUI. The suspension a result of his arrest in July of 2024. He was given 2 misdemeanors. Now, this is also important. A year earlier than that, he was cited for speed and reckless driving. He was going 140 miles per hour in a 55 at 3 a.m. He pled guilty there to a misdemeanor. I don't believe he was suspended for that. Now, I don't know either if the NFL kind of combined these together. But what's interesting is that one is closer to the Rashee Rice situation, the reckless driving. 3 games. So there are a lot of Chiefs fans. The interesting thing is there was a legal decision made in this case on the same day, right, as Rashee Rice. Rice's incident happened a little earlier than the DUI, but in between the reckless driving and the DUI. I'll be perfectly honest. I thought Addison was going to get a bigger suspension. Not because, the DUI I think is pretty par of the course, but we're kind of dealing multiple offenses here. So we'll see what happens with Rashee Rice. Now, Addison didn't cause a wreck and he didn't flee the scene. Both of those things Rashee Rice did. He was on a highway, he caused a wreck, and
he also didn't injure anybody, and there were injuries in the Rashee Rice situation.
Now, so what's interesting, I don't know that is a fact, like the bad decision was the same in a way, but yes, there were injuries. And again, Rice ran away from the scene, which is never a good deal. Rice's penalties in the actual legal system are far more severe than Addison's are. So I would suspect that his suspension from the NFL will, in relative terms, also be harsher. He's got to serve 30 days in jail. He's on 5 years probation, some pretty serious stuff. Addison's got a couple misdemeanors. Not that what he did isn't serious. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to find, as we don't know anything yet from the league, like where can we sort of try to guess at what sort of suspension Rice is going to serve. I still think somewhere between 4 and 6 games. But maybe some people think this is the path to 3 games, which falls in the middle of some of the initial reporting there. Either way, don't you think this comes soon now? Like I thought for sure we'd have this already. I thought for sure we'd have it before the start of the season. Now we still have 3 weeks for that, but feels like this should already be down from the NFL.
I think we will see it relatively soon. I mean, knowing that the NFL was able to put the penalties in place for Jordan Addison, and again, the decisions from the judges came on basically the same day for Addison and Rice. I would imagine that we'll get some kind of clarity relatively soon. I would caution anybody on drawing parallels between the 2 cases.
Yeah, that's
because
hard.
Even though the cases, there are some similarities in them, one thing we've learned about the NFL and their disciplinary process is that everything is kind of arbitrary. Like it's kind of just up to them on what they decide. I know they take the legal proceedings into consideration. I know they take the penalties and the different circumstances of each individual situation, and they use that to base their penalty off of their policies, personal conduct, and substance abuse, and all these different things come into play for that. But I think it's really difficult and probably a waste of time, to be frank, to try to go through the different circumstances of each case and then try to draw parallels to determine what this suspension will be for Rashee Rice. And simply because you're dealing with individuals in the NFL that we don't fully know what their process is.
We also don't know what they know.
We don't know what they know, and we don't know what their process is and what they're taking into consideration to make these decisions and to show what kind of penalty that will be.
Yeah, I think the NFL could have other information. right, that they can use. They can do whatever they want, right? Where
they're
the
operating
law,
independently from
the
the
law
legal
can't just
system.
do whatever it
Yeah.
wants. It kind of has to prove things. The NFL doesn't really have to do that. I think more than anything, it gives us a baseline. We know it'll be at least 3 and probably a little more, but at least 3. So
I
I
mean,
think
we
you
don't
can,
know that. We can assume that, but
yeah,
we don't
it's going to
like, we
be at
don't know
least
that
3.
for sure.
There's no chance it's less than 3.
Yeah.
But we don't know that. Yeah, I
We
mean, I
don't know.
guess it's not written down, but we can use our eyes and our ears and know that it's at least 3. The part that we are really guessing at is the timing. Okay, well, if this happened and there was a legal decision around the same time, because the reality is they had 4 more months of information gathering time with Rice than they did with Addison when these things happened. And it wasn't like Rice was resistant or fighting. I mean, he did run from the scene, but once things calmed, it was pretty clear, like everything went, I did it. I'm very sorry. I'm going to take care of these fixes, all those things. So it's not like there was a lot to sort out, right? There was video of it. He admitted to it.
He pled guilty right away. So, I
yeah.
mean, like that was in place.
So I think we'll get it pretty soon. And I think it'll be more than 3, but at least 3. So we can start there with the Chiefs as we transition now to the football. So you go into the season now. You can assume it's going to be at least the first 3 games, probably going to be more like the first month at minimum that Rice will be out. We know Hollywood Brown has been hurt in camp. We know Xavier Worthy's had a concussion in camp. This is where things get a little interesting. The Chiefs, if that is the case, we know the Chiefs' schedule is another monster this year. So if it was going to be, let's just call it the first 4 games, right? You're looking at Chargers, Eagles, Giants, Ravens. That Ravens game is the 4th game, which is pretty important, whether it's 3 or 4 more. But those are some big games without what we all assume is going to be your top wide receiver this year. So if it's Addison's still allowed to practice and do all that stuff, I assume Rice would be able to do the same thing. So once he's back, he can hit the ground running. But if you're the Chiefs too, Tommy, don't you kind of have to start like, what's the backup plan here? Like Jalen Royals is going to need some reps with the ones. Rice, you're going to have to sit a few out. Like we got to get ready to roll here. The schedule is tough out of the gates.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much of an issue in, having other wide receivers step up and be able to at least run with the ones, because they're gonna have to. Out of necessity. I mean, as you mentioned, Hollywood Brown is injured and Xavier Worthy has a concussion and all of that. I don't want to see any of these top wide receivers throughout the preseason at all. There's really no need for it. I mean,
except Royals.
I know. Well, yeah, I mean, outside of Royals, but I don't want to see Worthy. I don't want to see Brown. I don't want to see Rice even, because you need to protect him and make sure that when he's available to come back, he's healthy to come back. So at that point, like, I think that you're going to be able to see what Royals can give you at game speed, even though it's the preseason. So I think that that's an important piece of it. We know that they've got Juju, and he's kind of been a reliable, just kind of safety net, for them, a little bit of a parachute, because he's just consistent in there. So you've got him, and then the guys lower down the depth chart as well. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine that they're already figuring out what that game plan is going to be. And it could very well be a situation where they're without Rice because he's suspended, and who knows the severity of Hollywood Brown's ankle injury and if he'll be ready to go for the start of the season. But regardless of that, I mean, I think you keep those guys on ice during the preseason.
I think so too. There's multiple benefits of it too. You need to acclimate Royals as fast as humanly possible. Probably a little faster than the rookies normally come along. And I will say, the reports on him in camp have been very strong. And it's not like his physical things, it's his acclimation mentally and how quickly he's picking things up. That we're hearing a little more chatter about that kind of stuff than we normally do about these receivers. Tyquan Thornton has sort of been the darling of camp right now. I'm going to suspect there's a little Justin Ross at play there. Like, we all want to find these. Oh my goodness, I can't believe Thornton's been okay in his NFL career. He's got some upside. So I'm glad he's there for right now. But I think it amplifies Travis Kelce. I think it amplifies the run game early in the season, probably a little bit more than it will when they're at full strength. And, can the offensive line dominate a little bit and help these wide receivers have time to get open and help Patrick Mahomes have time to, to give maybe an extra second or two to get things opened up? Tommy, yesterday, Nagy was asked and the question, and there was no from what I didn't listen to it, I only read the press conference, but Jalen Moore and Juwan Taylor, the competition at right tackle, they're not even pretending anymore, right? At how this is going to go. I mean, Simmons is going to be the left tackle.
Oh, for sure.
They won't say it. They haven't said it. They're not. But these other guys are working over at the right side. They're talking about them working over at the right side. I think that is an absolute best case scenario for this Chiefs offseason. And we talked about it when he was drafted. What is the best case scenario? That Simmons starts week 1 and never looks back, right? Regardless, no matter what else happens, that is the best case scenario. And it appears to be what's happening, not out of necessity, but out of he looks good there. He's ready to roll. He's physically capable, and we can all move on, hopefully, for the love of God, from the left tackle conversation that we've been having for 3 years.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since there's been long-term stability at that position. And that's the biggest thing that I know the Chiefs are looking for. I mean, they want to see Josh Simmons be a freak athlete. They want to see him be the best left tackle in the league. But before they get to that, you have to walk before you run. Before they get to that, they just need stability. They just need somebody to be out there that they can count on and rely on. And it looks like Simmons is that guy. And we'll see once we get to game speed and everything, we'll see how that pans out. But it is interesting that really it's become a foregone conclusion that he will be the left tackle, and they're going to work Moore and Taylor on the right side. Going back to the wide receiver conversation briefly, I've said all offseason long that really what I wanted to see from Patrick Mahomes and the offense was more of a schematic change. I wanted to see more of a philosophy change. And that's been talked about at length during the offseason and training camp about how with the personnel at the wide receiver position now, and the fact that, they've got Worthy for another year and he's more mature, and they've drafted Jalen Royals and Rashee Rice is healthy, and all of these different things, you would think that might unlock the offense a little bit more than just kind of the dump offs and short intermediate passes. I would pump the brakes on that at least right out of the gate because of the Rice suspension, because of the potential injuries with Worthy and Brown and all of that. So I do think at some point during the season that'll probably happen. That will probably evolve as the season goes on. But I was really hopeful that we would see this new unlocked Chiefs offensive game plan from week 1. That may not be a reality.
I was too. And the other problem is who they play, right? 2 of their most difficult games this season will be out of the gates in that stretch. So that's a part of it too. I don't lose hope if through the first month of the season, the offense is not clicking on all cylinders. And even if they were healthy, the fact that they have to play the Eagles and the Ravens in that mix, and maybe even the Chargers in that mix on the road, there's a chance it's going to take a second, because after that, Jags, Lions, Raiders, Commanders, then it's all of a sudden defenses that I wouldn't expect to be in the top half this year that they'll face. So yeah, give that a little time. But again, that's okay. If you're solid on the line, Isaiah Pacheco's healthy, right? That's why I keep bringing up Jalen Roy. The opportunity right now for Jalen Royals is tremendous, right? It's a really big opportunity for him, because Worthy's going to be totally different than he was a year ago. He'll be where, you expect at minimum where he was at the end of the year. I don't know. Hollywood Brown's the wild card. What is the expectation for Hollywood Brown?
To play? To be on the field?
Let's assume. Well, but let's assume he plays. And I mean, if he plays, what sort of production do we even expect for him? I feel like it's all over the map. It could be a lot, right? It could be where he's had 1,000-yard seasons in his careers, or it could be as their 3rd or 4th best wide receiver. His range of outcomes is high. They're all over the place. In a I wouldn't call it a best case scenario, but in a very logical scenario, if this offense was all healthy at the same time and clicking, he would be the fourth passing option in the offense. You know what I mean? Like it'd be Kelsey and Worthy and Rice and then him, probably, I guess. Or is it more than that? Is he more than that? Which is also possible based on his career when he's out there healthy.
Well, knowing that this is again like take number 2 on a prove it deal for Hollywood Brown, in his mind, it's gonna be more than that. At least he needs it to be more than that to be able to continue on his career in a meaningful way, as opposed to going on 1-year deal here, 1-year deal there. Not a whole lot of money. If he wants a multi-year contract from another team, that's the whole reason why he came to Kansas City last season and he wasn't able to perform by and large the majority of the year. He's doing it again this year. Like the Chiefs were able to bring him back for another year for another prove it deal. If it were up to him, it would need to be a lot bigger production than just being another cog in the machine, right? Like just being another guy, a role player offensively. It's a prove it deal. And if he can do that and perform and be healthy, that's the biggest caveat. Can he be healthy? Then he's going to be able to cash in potentially somewhere else on a multi-year contract. But that the big question mark is going to be, will he be healthy enough to be able to do that?
Or does he end up like Juju Smith-Schuster and just re-sign with the Chiefs every season?
He could.
Juju's also, boy, aren't you glad Juju's there? It's kind of like last year. Just aren't you just glad Juju's there?
He's a safety net. He's not going to do anything major for you. That part of his career is done. But he can be reliable, and that's really important. As we always say,
it is right now.
We always say the best ability is availability, and Juju has been available, and that's been important.
We'll see. I don't know when we'll get the Rice news. I keep saying I think it will be soon. It hasn't been yet, but maybe the Addison deal is the first domino, and maybe it gives us some insight into where the league's going to head with this thing. But we'll of course let you know as soon as it happens. We're just waiting like everybody else. Hey, Royals playing late again tonight, 6:00. You can listen right here on 97.5 and 1240 or on the Odyssey app. We're going to talk some Royals baseball when we return on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
8310 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Sports Daily on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor with you here. On a Wednesday, Shreyas Laddha will join us in just a little bit. Let's give away some HTO here. If you want to win some iced tea from HTO, either East Wichita, West Wichita, or in Derby, you can get a free iced tea on us right now. Text keyword tea to the short code 20357. That's TEA 20357. While you're getting that tea, ask about the new Fizzy Refresher energy drinks, Desert Pear or Lemon Lav. They are refresher drinks, but with a little carbonation in them. Very, very tasty. So try that while you're in there getting that free tea on us. Good luck, everybody. Welcome back into Sports Daily. The Royals fall last night 6-2. Garrett Crochet doing Garrett Crochet things. He is your winning pitcher. The good news for the Royals is Ryan Berger looked pretty good, right? 2 earned, giving up over 5 2/3. I thought he was pretty solid. The bullpen really let the Royals down last night. Both Zerpa and Schreiber, both of whom have been pretty good lately, were not good last night. Collectively gave up 6 hits and 4 runs in an inning pitched and 2 walks. Just pretty dreadful, honestly. Then Lynch came in and actually looked pretty good. Schreiber's been a very good story this year. Zerpa has certainly been better. And this was not a game where the Royals had a lead. This was the right time to use them and everything else. Yeah. But I think, Tommy, we're seeing a bullpen that's rounding up to Lynch, Harvey, Ursig, and Estevez as your guys with the lead. I think it's too bad. But look, Garrett Crochet's a stud. It was going to be another. They were almost like 2-1 underdogs to win that game yesterday. They were severely underdogs against that kind of starting pitching.
Well, they were able to get a couple of runs against Crochet. It just wasn't enough. And Bergert turned the ball over to Zerpa and Schreiber, and those two guys struggled last night. And look, I think that while it's disappointing, I think we all knew that it was going to be an incredible challenge to try to beat the Red Sox, who are one of baseball's hottest teams, by the way, with Garrett Crochet on the mound, who has been lights out this season. That's why Monday night's game was so important for them to get the win, and why it was so disappointing that Bailey Falter had a bad debut for the Royals on Monday night. That's why I think the pressure was on the Royals' shoulders on Monday night to try to at least start off the series with a win, because now we look ahead to tonight's game and their backs are up against a wall and they're trying to avoid a sweep. And that would be the biggest bucket of cold water to throw on the fire that the Royals have had in the month of July and then early in August. If they get swept by the Red Sox in Boston, they've got to avoid that at all costs. You do have a good opportunity tonight, but it's disappointing that we're now staring a potential sweep in the face after what we've seen recently from this team.
If the Royals were to lose to Boston today, they would be further behind Boston in the wild card than they would be Detroit in the division. So that's a part to pay attention to, right? If they lose to Boston today, it may very well take one of the wild card spots out. Boston's won 7 straight. Kansas City hasn't lost any ground on the Yankees because the Yankees are on a 5-game losing streak. But you've lost games to Texas, who is, the most recent reason the Yankees are out to 5 games. So you've lost games there. Seattle's going to be tough to catch. I think it gets pretty critical. And really, honestly, with 6 to go against Detroit, maybe where we need to be looking is Detroit as much as anything else. And it's going to be an outside. We've known this. It's going to be an outside chance. One of the reasons we really liked what the Royals did at the trade deadline is because they were aggressive with moves that don't just help them this year, because their chances to reach the postseason this year are low. They're not very high. But they made moves that potentially help them next year. Bergert's going to be one of those, and he looked good yesterday. But we knew going into this Red Sox series that they were at severe pitching disadvantages in the first 2 games. Severe. We knew going into this 6-game portion of the 9-game road trip that they probably just needed to get a split in the first 6. So a win today gives them 4 out of 6, which I think, honestly, I would feel pretty good about it, to just in fairness to reality, right? But you got to get that win today. Otherwise, it'll be a slip. They can still a split. They can still overcome that. But it's a big pressure spot, and it's Michael Wacha on the mound to try to get it done. This will be the worst starting pitcher of the 3 that they faced. And here we go, a big opportunity. I don't know, Tommy. They only scored 2 runs yesterday. I feel good about the offense. Like I like their chances today. Let me look and see what our odds are today. I'm just curious because they were dogs in both of the first 2 games of this series. Today they're dogs again against Dustin May.
I like that on the money line, to be honest with you. And primarily because of Michael Wacha, his last time out, that opening game of the road trip in Toronto against the Blue Jays, he went 8 innings and gave up 1 run in that game. And so I like their chances if Wacha can continue that. That was the deepest start of the year for Michael Wacha. And in a situation, if you go back to almost a week ago when he threw 8 innings and got the win in that opening game in Toronto, the Royals were coming off of a homestand against the Braves at home when the finale, they had to throw a bullpen game. They hadn't acquired, or maybe they had just acquired those guys at the deadline, Falter and Bergert and Kolek. They didn't have the arms in the rotation. And that was a breath of fresh air to have a starting pitcher in Michael Wacha that was able to go deep into a ball game and give the Royals bullpen a breather. They desperately needed that in that game. I'm optimistic that Wacha can follow that up. I don't think that he necessarily needs to go eight innings again tonight, but if he can at least go deep into the game and hold the Red Sox down, then I do like that. And we know that Kansas City, their backs are up against the wall to avoid the sweep. Knowing that they're underdogs again tonight, I kind of like Kansas City on the money line.
Day off tomorrow, you got to kind of look between the lines. Is another reason to like them is even if Wacha doesn't go deep, a short hook allows them to go Harvey, Ursig, Estevez. So you need him to go 6. I don't know if they'd go Lynch back-to-back nights at the moment because he did pitch extended time last night. So you need Wacha to get you through 6. You need to have a chance, and likely if it's close, they're going to throw those 3 guys because they have a day off tomorrow. I'm with you. I like the Royals today. I think it's a nice setup for them. And again, if you can go into that day off and go into a twin series, you can get that win today, knowing you just didn't go up against these kinds of pitchers. I mean, I think you feel good about that. Garrett Crochet pitched last night. I think that I think this Tarek Skubal runaway conversation has gotten a little out of hand. If there were 2 guys that pitched yesterday that I believe should be in the conversation, and one of them was Garrett Crochet. He has been outstanding. He's got a 13-4 record. His ERA is 0.06 higher than Skubal. Skubal's 11-3. Garrett Crochet's thrown more innings, Tommy. He has more strikeouts. His whip is not quite as good. I would still say Skubal is the leader there. But then you got to go down and you got to look at Nate Eovaldi. I don't know how much you've been noticing what Nate Eovaldi's doing. Nate Eovaldi he missed a few starts. So he's about 30 innings behind those guys. Tommy, he's got a 1.38 ERA right now and is putting things together like we've never seen. He's allowed 1 run or fewer in 13 of his last 14 starts. He's the only Major League Baseball pitcher other than one guy to do something like that. You know who that other guy is? Bob Gibson.
Okay.
It's the only other guy that's had a stretch like that. It's the 5th best in Major League Baseball history through a pitcher's first 19 starts of a season. 5th best ever through 19 starts. I think he's making a case. I mean, this has been insane what he's doing. And I don't know if we'd be having a different conversation if he didn't miss. I think it was about 3 starts with an injury. But I mean, we haven't seen something like this before. Not in 60 years.
Yeah, I don't think that the runaway conversation with Tarek Skubal is fair to those other guys. I think Skubal's in the mix for sure.
I think Skubal's the leader.
Yeah, he's probably the leader in the clubhouse. But what Eovaldi is doing right now is pretty special. So that's of course on the table. And then Garrett Crochet. What's wild to me about Crochet is that it wasn't that long ago that the White Sox didn't want him to start games. Like they just wanted to use him out of the bullpen. And, they did finally acquiesce and put him in the rotation a season ago. But that was the best thing for him ever to get out of Chicago and go to Boston.
Well, remember he wanted a contract. They didn't want to give him one. And,
he's filthy. Like watching that. It's not like I watch a lot of Garrett Crochet.
That first inning, I was like, we got no chance.
He's phenomenal. And
I think moving.
With Tarek Skubal, I pay closer attention to him because he's in the Royals division, obviously. But man, like watching Crochet, I always knew he was special, and you always knew that he could heat it up and could throw the cover off the baseball. But man, his placement, his arm angle, like all these different things, he's a special pitcher. So I don't think that it's a runaway with Tarek Skubal at all. I think you've got a couple of guys in that mix, in that conversation for the Cy Young, and it's going to be, I think, a really competitive battle down the stretch.
I do too. Before the game, Eovaldi was at 60-1 to win the Cy Young. He's at about 30-1 now. I still like that. I do think it is time to start paying attention to what he's doing. He is putting together one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a starting pitcher. And he didn't like he missed a small amount of time. It was 3 or 4 starts. His will be interesting if he keeps that up, no matter what Crochet and if he keeps his ERA under 1.5, the only other guy, Tommy, to do that, and I'll be curious to know if you know who this one is. The only other guy through the first 19 starts of a season to keep it basically that low, 138 or lower. And there's only one that's done it in modern time. Who do you think it is? It's a familiar name. I'll give you a hint.
Greg Maddux.
Zach Greinke.
Okay.
Only other guy. And guess what? He did not win the Cy Young that year. Now, that was through his first 19 starts. He ended up, Greinke, I just had it pulled up. I took it off. Like he was second in Cy Young that year. I don't know if Eovaldi's going to get it done. We know this with awards. Sometimes guys are crowned early and it just, there's no overcoming it. But if he keeps it going through the end of this season, he will have a case. He's going to have a case because we just haven't seen this kind of numbers in forever. And I'm not saying I think he's better than Skubal or better than Crochet. He's just not giving up any runs. It's wild. It'll be a fun thing to watch. All right, we'll come back. We got another hour of Sports Daily coming for you. Don't go away. It's all Brock and Caster on a Wednesday.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
8310 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Kester.
All right, everybody, let's get you another hour of the show in here on this Wednesday, a Hawaiian shirt Wednesday. Thanks to all those who celebrate. Getting us through hump day. It's going to be hot out there today. So, keep that in mind as you're making your decisions. All the more reason to throw on your nice, cool, breezy Hawaiian, your best. Wear it to the office. Listen to all the compliments and enjoy the day. We celebrate with Hawaiian Shirt Wednesdays here on Sports Daily. All right. Let's get you set up for this hour. We're going to have Shreyas Laddha in a little bit later. We'll check in from KU camp. We'll check in on football. KU getting some votes in the coaches poll this week, I thought was pretty interesting. So we'll have that. Then we'll check in on basketball as well. Bill Self, all the things he's dealing with. That's all coming a little later in the hour. We'll also dig a little further into the Royals here. We talked for just a few minutes about the loss yesterday. They'll have a game again today, another 6:00 start that you'll hear right here, by the way, on KFH. And maybe we'll get to some of these other NFL storylines bouncing around the league. So we'll have that for you. It's all coming. What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, featuring free mini homemade root beer floats with any kids meal purchase August 4th through the 8th. That means it goes through this Friday. Limited supply of WBC keepsake mini mugs will be given out, so hurry in today. WBC, it's pizza and root beer made here. So get in there, have some lunch. Also want to tell you about the summer concert series, which is back this weekend. NAFSCAR Park, it returns Friday. Monterey Jack live on stage. Gates open at 6:30. Show starts at 8. You can enjoy free live music, food trucks, Friday night fun all summer long. Full schedule at kfhradio.com. I'm looking up right now. It looks like ESPN is going to acquire the rights to some of the premium WWE events that are coming. This ESPN, and it's just like the latest chapter, this new direct-to-consumer streaming service that's coming later this month. So now you've got WWE as a part of this, it looks like. Just some breaking news within the last couple of seconds here. But it comes, Tommy, as we see, so now WWE is becoming a big part of this new ESPN platform. We know the NFL Network is sort of doing a merger of sorts with this new ESPN platform where they're going to have Red Zone and some other things. This is all really interesting. You want to talk about two big plays for ESPN. You get a bunch of WWE events, it looks like, including like WrestleMania and then the Red Zone channel. You want to launch your new channel with a bang? My goodness.
Well, and the fact that the fact that I've seen speculation that we're looking at a $30 a month price tag.
Whew.
That's probably why, like, you're going to get a $30 a month price tag if you get NFL Red Zone and you get WrestleMania and like all these other things. I mean, that's a steep monthly price to pay. So they've got to have some premium content.
Well, and so here's the question that I would ultimately have with all of this. Can you get everything that ESPN has there? Everything. This is going to be so for people like us. I think there's a lot of people that have like YouTube TV. This is going to make some decisions become difficult. One of the main reasons I have YouTube TV, there's two main reasons I have YouTube TV. One, local channels. Two, sports. That's it, right? Most of our other content now comes from other streaming services. So if YouTube TV, which is trying to make its bones behind having the NFL Network or the NFL, what's it called? Sunday Ticket.
Sunday Ticket. Yeah, Sunday Ticket.
By having the Sunday Ticket. Well, now if Red Zone's going to ESPN, or maybe it's just an option to have Red, maybe YouTube TV still gets the Red Zone channel. That's going to make some tough decisions here because you still need Fox, CBS, all the others to get your other sports content, but so much of it lives on ESPN. $30. I'll tell you right now, I don't want to add $30 a month to what I'm already paying.
Well, yeah, neither do I. I right now, I think I pay an extra $10 a month on YouTube TV to get Red Zone.
Yes.
If I can't get that, and there are other sports premium channels that come with that. I don't ever watch any of them, but they're available there. There's like I think a racing channel and a soccer channel, like things like that come along with Red Zone. It's like their sports premium package. I can tell you right now, if I can't get Red Zone through YouTube TV, that add-on goes away for me and I'm saving $10 a month and I'm not going to spend $30 with ESPN to go and get that. I like Red Zone, but not enough to have a $30 a month price tag.
I don't know, man. Red Zone is my favorite thing to watch on TV.
Last football season was the first football season I ever had Red Zone, and I enjoyed it and I watched it a lot. But up until last year, I never did it, and I was fine. I can go back to not
fine. You just didn't know what you were missing.
You're the same guy that don't like you won't spend on Netflix. Like you don't have a Netflix.
Yeah, because I don't because nothing on Netflix is better than a Sunday on the Red Zone. Nothing on Netflix is as good as that. Like we all pick our spots. That's my spot, though. That's literally my favorite thing on television is the Red Zone on Sundays. So I would find a way there. But like all of this is just like this is pretty seismic. Some of this stuff. Now, WWE bounces around everywhere. They'll take whatever they can get. Right? They're on Netflix. They're on Peacock. They're on they bounce around. It's significant. It is because it's the first time ESPN has dabbled. Right? And it looks like it's just some of their premium stuff. Like so, maybe it's a few pay-per-views, and maybe you get you bounce around to the different pay-per-views. That I'm not sure, but it's just like seeing that. And then seeing the NFL piece of this, and if ESPN just acquires the NFL Network and some of their personalities and in the Red Zone, that it's. I just don't know what it means for the bigger picture of college sports when all these TV deals are getting done. Like that's where I don't like the shrinking, but it would be nice if everything you wanted was in one sports package. And remember, too, there was all the talk of some mega sports merger. And when was the last time we heard about that, where it was like Fox and Turner and like everybody was coming together for some sort of like sports premium package, which would be great, right? It would be wonderful. But I haven't heard about that in a long time. So now I don't know where that stands. The ESPN's making these monumental moves. Rick brings up the NFL having a 10% equity in ESPN, conflict of interest. Well, look, I don't know what the conflict of interest would be. It sounds like a smart business decision for the NFL. If you mean in like negotiating deals with CBS and Fox, maybe, but they were already carrying games themselves too.
I mean, there could be a small argument about journalistic integrity and covering the NFL.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's an argument that you could make about that.
But Tommy, that already exists because ESPN carries Monday Night Football.
Right.
Right. So I don't know, like, that's always been there anyway. You don't want to piss off the rights holders, right? Like you don't want to make the league mad at you if you're ESPN. I would imagine that's not going to be a problem. I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's just like anything else. You have news programs and your news programs cover the news. CBS covers, and that's where people have gotten really mad about the Colbert stuff and everything else. But Colbert's not a news program. But, those things do happen. Like, can CBS be called upon when its parent company might be doing something that's like, can they be called upon to call it out? There was a big lawsuit with stuff like that. So I don't know.
I'll tell you right now, ESPN can do whatever they want. And if they acquire all these NFL properties, again, that's their call. They can do whatever they want. But I'll tell you right now, the hill I will die on, Scott Hansen needs to be protected at all costs. I've seen speculation that if it goes to ESPN, he could be out and they could bring in ESPN personalities to host it. And I would hate that. Can you imagine like Stephen A. Smith and
no. It would have to be like Van Pelt. It would have to be. So what's interesting about Hansen
is he needs to be protected at all costs.
He does.
He does. Incredible.
He does. He's been doing it a long time. I think I've seen him say that he would also be interested in doing other things. Don't quote me on that. Here's what's interesting about that. When I first started watching Red Zone, I had DirecTV. And at the time, my Red Zone was delivered by Andrew Siciliano.
Yeah.
Not Scott Hansen. Right. I didn't even know who Scott Hansen was until after I left DirecTV, and Siciliano did a really good job with it, by the way. So that's how I used to watch
on this channel quite a bit. He fills in on the Rich Eisen show a lot.
Yeah, and he used to fill in. He's filled in for Rome, I think, too. He's done a lot of stuff. So he's really good. I didn't even know Hansen did it. I didn't know there were two of them. There were, because that's who I was introduced to Red Zone to, however long ago that was, 15, 20 years ago. So now that I've seen, and Hansen's great too. So I want him there also. But I'm sure he'd have to negotiate a new contract, and who the hell knows? It's all pretty crazy. I just looked up and saw, Triple H in the ESPN studio. I'm like, what is going on here? They're good. They're shooting big with this thing. All right, we'll come back. We got more Sports Day for you. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
8310 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily here on KFH. Glad to be with you. Appreciate Crestview Country Club and their great support of the program. Nothing better than getting out in a Hawaiian and playing a little golf. Tommy, occasionally, if we're out there and we're playing, and I've got a festive shirt on, I had somebody yell at me on a Friday and said I thought it was Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. The deal is it's Hawaiian shirt every day. It's never a bad day.
Was that you were wearing? Were you wearing pink? Was that a pink Hawaiian golf shirt on Friday? Like a hot pink?
Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah,
I think that's what it was. If I recall, which I don't typically remember what you wore on random days, but that one was bright enough that
highlighter pink would be the term for it. That was another one that my son picked for us to have matching Hawaiian shirts. Not sure why he picked that one, but listen, I'm all for bold choices, and that was a bold choice. So Yeah, so we've got a few in the mix, but yeah, thanks to Crestview. Get out there. I wonder if they're done with their tree work yet. I can't wait to see it, and it's going to be interesting. It is already interesting, but get out there. Looking forward to another meal out there. We've told you that they turned over their menu. If you give them a call and you go take a tour, make sure you take the time to have some lunch. If you want to tour the facilities, because it is delicious. They just did an entire new menu. I've talked to people, other members, friends out there, and everyone says the same thing. Like everything they've had is really good. So congratulations to them on that success. And give them a call. Still plenty of time to go to the pool out there at Crestview as well, which hopefully we'll be doing as it's 1 billion degrees. We haven't hit 100 yet this year. Have you been paying attention to that?
I think we're going to. I just heard Jake Dunn's Storm Team 12 forecast, and he said that we could be getting our first 100-day temperature of the year.
Okay, so something's changed overnight. I got to pull out my Storm Team 12 app here and look at this, because unless that's gone up, he is. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so they've got it Thursday 98, Friday 99 right now. That has gone up just a couple of degrees from yesterday. Now our heat index is going way over. Like, take the over. I like to call it here, and they won't let me call it there. Swamp ass alert days is what we're going to be dealing with this weekend. Yeah, and then we're clear.
There's nobody on the planet who is as happy to hear this news than Max Power. He is so thrilled that the temperature is going to be up over 100. If it's like even 91, he's like, yeah, it's chilly. It needs to be hotter than that. Like, he wants it to be like the infernos of hell, basically.
Have you? What's the term for that? And I hope I'm not saying something inappropriate. What's the term for that? Who just enjoys punishment? A masochist? When did you become a masochist, Max?
Max. That's why they call him Max the Masochist.
Isn't okay? Hang on. We got to be real careful here, because is masochist?
It's somebody that enjoys pain. Like they find pleasure in pain.
This is what I was fearing. Yes, it can be all kinds of pain.
You're right. But come on, like, get your mind out of the gutter. We're talking about
my mind's not in the gutter. I used it, and I'm just making sure we're clear. And I think it can be used in a variety of ways. But I'm going to tell you right now, when you Google it, the first thing that pops up.
Yeah, you might need to clear your internet history after searching for that.
Yeah. No images, thankfully. Just definitions here. I think we're clear. Well, cat's out of the bag now. Either way, the punishment of the heat, Max, is an interesting choice.
That'll be an interesting conversation if your wife stumbles upon your search history.
Yeah, that would be. It's 8 whatever time in the morning. I had soccer practice last night for the kids, and it was still like 94 degrees, but it wasn't humid yet. It was fine. I was in a suit. On turf for an hour and a half yesterday, and it was not bad at all. Why? Because there was no humidity. That's what changes over the next couple of days. Swamp ass alert day in full effect. When the humidity comes, it doesn't matter if it's 75 degrees. That's what kills me.
Yeah.
I'll take 95 with low humidity. Then I'm with Max. I got no problem with that. I like it. I definitely like being hot more than I like being cold. But man, when that humidity creeps in, it doesn't matter what the temperature is. I also sweat from my head, and it's just like a nonstop. It's like somebody just dumps a bucket of water on my head. I mow the yard, Tommy, in like an 80s hairband bandana, and have to embarrass my wife, but the other half keeps the sweat out of my eyes. I don't. Humidity and I do not mix.
I'm going out to Rolling Hills Country Club tomorrow for the Heritage Classic Media Day. So our buddy Jay Delling setting that up. So we're going to play some golf tomorrow afternoon. Brandon Zinner and myself are representing KFH and Odyssey out there. And I didn't realize until I looked at the heat index for tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be steamy for that media day for the Heritage Classic.
Golf cart seats are going to burn your butt.
Yep.
You got to be careful there. Park in the shade. Drink lots of water. Yeah, it's going to be rough. It is going to be tough. Well, I haven't even looked. How are we looking Monday morning? for the Grady Dick charity.
I think it's supposed to be a little cooler by the time Monday rolls around.
Yeah, partly cloudy, high in 91. We'll be out there so early it won't be as big a deal. That looks fantastic.
Yeah. We're bringing the show on the road. We'll do the show live from Crestview for the Grady Dick golf tournament.
Evening thunderstorms the night before may cool it off a little bit. Boy, if it gets to be cart path only, that'll be something. Let's hope we don't go there. Be a 7-hour endeavor probably at that point. All right, let's talk NFL stuff, Tommy. Just stuff bouncing around. The Chargers, I don't know if you saw this, add Keenan Allen. That feels significant to me. They didn't have a lot behind Ladd McConkey. And now they bring Allen back, which has always made sense. He was just kind of floating out there after a year in Chicago. He was there for 12 years, I think, prior to that. He was actually pretty good last year for Chicago, 700 yards, 7 touchdowns. I do think this is of pretty big significance. I think putting him with McConkey and some of the others that they have opens things up a little bit for that offense. We know Najee Harris is dealing with his eye or whatever it is from the 4th of July, but they drafted Omarion Hampton high. We know they want to run the ball. But one of the reasons I've sort of had the Chargers suppressed is because they don't have a lot of pass targets. This adds a big one back into the mix. Even if Allen just does what he did a year ago, along with what we saw to Ladd McConkey, I think that's a much better option than anything they had going into camp. I think this move makes the Chargers quite a bit better.
Yeah, I think you got to temper expectations a little bit. I mean, it doesn't usually work all that well when a player that's been with the franchise for more than a decade leaves and then comes back, and everybody expects him to be the same player that he was when he was there the first time around.
God, he's 33.
Yeah, like he's older, right? And so you are going to see diminishing returns, I think, from him. But as a depth piece behind Ladd McConkey, and as somebody that is a veteran and knows
familiar with Justin Herbert,
all of that, it does make sense. But he's not going to be an all-pro. And so I think that any Chargers fan that's out there that's like, yeah, we get Keenan Allen back, like our guy's coming home, just understand he'll be okay. I'm sure he'll be fine.
I think if
he's also 33 years old.
I think if he just gives them what he gave the Bears last year, 70 catches, 750 yards, 7 touchdowns, if he can give the Chargers that, I think their offense is more dynamic than it would have been. I think this moves the needle for me. Doesn't move it to where I think I'm picking them over the Chiefs or anything like that in the division, but I do think it moves the needle enough for me to say I'm picking them over the Broncos to be second in the division. I think that's it's made sense the whole time as he's been sitting out there. Like, man, why don't they just bring Keenan Allen back? Because they've got such big questions outside of McConkey.
You know, McConkey plays pretty much the same receiver position that Allen did and does. And so that's going to be a little bit interesting. McConkey plays out of the slot. Allen played out of the slot for a lot.
I don't think McConkey has to play out of the slot. I don't think he did in college. Don't quote me on that. I think I think positional versatility for him is a thing that makes him really good.
Yeah, but remember, McConkey, has had a significant amount of success out of the slot. And so do you mess with that and move him to the outside because Keenan Allen is back? That's a risky proposition to displace your number one receiver in the position where he's had the majority of his success, for Keenan Allen to come back in and take that spot back over. Are you messing with something with McConkey that has worked extremely well in his short tenure in the NFL? That's a really interesting dilemma that the Chargers are going to have to figure out. How do these two guys play together on the field the majority of the time?
Yeah, quick search. He can play both. He does both. Keenan Allen, I don't think will be a detriment to Ladd McConkey. I think they'll work fine together. Now some of these other young guys can maybe give Herbert a downfield threat. I like what the Chargers are cooking. I think this move makes a ton of sense for them. We've got some. Here's an interesting story. The smelling salts story. They banned it, basically. Everyone knows what we're talking about, smelling salts, right? Like wake you up a little bit. Was it Adam Gase that famously took a rip before like a preseason game to hype himself up? George Kittle was upset by this. I think it's a thing that people use to like get like maximum, perception and everything else. The problem is for the league, it can also be something that masks concussions a great deal. And so it makes sense for the league to do this. I never thought of it that way. Ammonia is also, ammonia's. So that's what's weird. Like isn't ammonia what you pour on a rag, like in the movies to make somebody pass out? Isn't that ammonia?
I have no idea.
Ammonia is a bad cold.
That's pneumonia. There's a
Oh.
difference between pneumonia
I
and
know.
ammonia.
There's a good story that
Yeah.
goes back to my childhood, my friends on that.
Thank you, Max. That was well placed. I guess there are ammonia inhalers that boost mental alertness and energy. There are potential negative side effects. I don't think pro athletes are too worried about the potential negative side effects. But again, they can be used to mask neurological stuff. So it's all concussion based. And I guess Kittle popped on with the announcement and admitted he uses them like every drive. He was kidding. He was kidding with all. He was kidding with all of this, by the way, because Kittle is a great character of this league. But that's an interesting thing and a smart thing for the league. They've just like concussions continue to be this great threat.
He may, by the way, he may have been joking, and there were some of the things that he said in that interview that he crashed on NFL Network yesterday that he was joking about I'm considering retiring because of this. It's all a joke, but at the end of the day, he does regularly use them.
Yeah, right.
Imagine that's tough for him to try to figure out how am I going to operate without the way that I've been doing this for my entire career.
Yeah, he's just having fun because he's always having fun. But I think as much as anything else, he was just trying to like point out like we use these a lot. Like we're pretty frequent users of these things. Another headline of significance to us, and it's kind of a bummer. Will Howard's going to be out for a few weeks, a hand injury. He has a big opportunity this year. Rodgers, by some reports, has looked really good in camp. More like the old Rodgers than maybe last year, which is to be expected, 2 years off the Achilles and all that at his age. But Howard has a big opportunity here. Rodgers is old. Howard can learn behind the Hall of Famer if he can get ready. Like Howard has a chance here, Tommy, to really impress this team and after this year be the quarterback of the future. I think that's very much on the table for him. So I hate to see that he's going to have to miss time now in camp because of a hand injury. I said this a lot when he was a player in college. There were a lot of things about his game to me that looked like a pro quarterback. And so I hope that, through whatever methods that happen, he gets that chance, but he will now have to miss some time because of sounds like a pretty serious injury.
I mean, outside of Aaron Rodgers, that quarterback room is wide open or has been wide open. Before the Steelers signed Aaron Rodgers, there was a lot of speculation about what was going to happen at quarterback. And Will Howard was in the mix as somebody that could be considered for that. And, if he's able to come back healthy, if he's able to continue to make a good impression on the team and all of that, then, yeah, I mean, we know that the Aaron Rodgers marriage with the Steelers is probably a 1-year thing, and then Rodgers is walking away. So at that point, who knows what the Steelers do? I mean, they could try to throw some draft capital at their quarterback of the future. They can make a trade. They could do some different things, free agency. But if there's an in-house option, that could make things a whole lot easier on them and their decision moving forward. So, yeah, I hope that he's able to come back healthy and continue to impress.
You know who else is in that room? Skylar Thompson, which is kind of interesting. Both the K-State quarterbacks there. But, yeah, we're going to need to get him back quickly. To get that. The Browns are just trying to figure out who to play at quarterback. Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starter. Did you see that against the Panthers?
I did.
Which is pretty interesting. I don't think they've loved anybody, Flacco, Pickett, or Dylan Gabriel. They are all sitting out, by the way, that game. Sanders and Huntley are coming in. What's interesting about that? I think it means Sanders is truly the fourth quarterback on the depth chart right now. But the best thing in the world that could happen for Sanders is to get game speed action, to get out there, to play some snaps, and show everybody more than just dancing videos and all these distractions. I'm pretty good at what I do. And I think, opportunities here, Sanders, when we go back to Colorado, and let's pretend like all the weird stuff at the combine and all that didn't happen. We're just talking about the player himself. He always felt like a guy, you didn't watch him and think, man, he's going to wow the scouts when he gets in there at a combine or do anything like that. He kind of felt like you're going to have to get him on the field to see it, quarterback to me. And that's why I probably was a little higher on him than maybe the masses. He was pretty polarizing as a prospect, but it's because when he's on the field, he just makes plays and he's good under pressure, right? Those are the things those were like his number one qualities, right? Is that he's good under pressure and he makes plays. So the fact that he gets out there, and now after everything that's happened between then and now, him getting out and actually being a player in a preseason game is probably the best thing that could happen to him.
Joe Flacco is the quarterback of this team for this season. I mean, that's
but for how long in this season? Who knows? He's 40 whatever years old.
I mean, assuming he stays healthy, he would have to have a horrible season for them to move away from him, I think, and make Shedeur the starting quarterback. I think
Shedor's fourth. So right now there's Kenny Pickett first and Dylan Gabriel still to get through.
But those two guys are dealing with injuries, obviously. Yeah. So that's why Shedeur is getting play in this preseason game. But it's Joe Flacco's job. Everybody nationally is going to jump to these conclusions that with Shedeur starting this preseason game that he's going to be the start. Like, he's not going to be the starter, guys. Like, everybody
I hope they're not jumping to those conclusions.
Oh, it's all over the place. Like, he's starting the preseason game. Like, they're laying the groundwork for him to take over.
The reality is that means he's last on the depth chart.
Yeah,
but it also, to my point, means he's getting the best opportunity he could possibly get. After everything that's happened, the best thing that will happen for him, if he's going to take advantage, is to actually get out on the field, not in practice, not in a meeting room, not anything else, but to just get out on the field and try to do the things that made him an intriguing prospect, which is just get out there and make plays. That was another headline of yesterday. And then the Micah Parsons thing continues to just kind of hover over the league right now. He's practicing. Tommy, he's going to play on this deal. He doesn't have a choice.
Jerry Jones
has no leverage.
Jerry Jones did say that he's not confident that Micah will be available for week number 1. So we'll see how that plays out.
If he holds out, I'm pretty sure he doesn't get paid. Like, this is a weird one. It's a weird one, but we'll watch it. There's still a long way to go before week 1. All right, we'll come back. Shreyas Laddha joins us next. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
And now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on KFH.
And welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Daily, and it is that insider interview with Shreyas Laddha. Shreyas, our KU insider. He is the KU beat reporter for the KC Star, covering everything KU football, covering everything KU basketball. Shreyas, I saw in the coaches poll that came out that KU got some votes to get into the top 25. I was surprised by that. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, I think so slightly. In the a lot of the preseason polls from media side of things, Kansas is not even ranked in the top 3 of the conference, right? So there might be some coaches in the conference or around the country that like what Kansas has built, but I think it's a little early, I think, to say, they are a top 25 team or should be in consideration to be near the top 25.
There have been a lot of question marks going into this season, Shreyas, about the wide receiver room. We know that, KU loses quite a bit of guys, several guys from the team last year that were, extremely productive for the Jayhawks offense. And there's been a lot of chatter through practices and all of that about Emmanuel Henderson, the Alabama transfer. What do we know about him? And is he somebody that we should be keeping our eyes on as we get into the season?
Yeah, I mean, a couple days ago, actually, really last week, the strength and conditioning coach Matt Gildersleeve mentioned how Henderson is one of the fastest guys he's ever seen, even faster than Jason Bean. Mind you, Jason Bean hit, I think, 22.3 miles per hour in a game a few years back against Oklahoma. Henderson has had rave reviews at camp. He's been a guy that the quarterbacks have talked about, Lance Leipold's talked about, Gildersleeve, Zabrowski. I wrote about it a few days ago, but the hype around him is probably as much hype I've seen around a player out of Jalen Daniels or Devin Neal in the 3 seasons that or 2.5 seasons that I've covered Kansas football. It's just, it's been building. It continues to build. And, I feel like the opportunity he has here at Kansas is something he never would have gotten at Alabama. He played 3 years at Alabama, only had 5 catches. He mostly played special teams. But it just kind of shows to you the raw talent that's available if he lives up to the expectations on the bench of some of these teams like Georgia and Alabama. Because at Kansas, he has a real opportunity to be the number 1 overall wide receiver.
So and I think that stuff plays into the vote, but how much is it just it's Jalen Daniels, it's Lance Leipold. That's a baseline we can get behind. And then, they've brought in a bunch of really talented players. I just don't know how else you evaluate any of these transfer teams. Like it's such a hard thing to do.
No, I completely agree. I think, there's the basis of belief goes behind the 2 things that you said, Jalen Daniels and Lance Leipold. And the fact of the matter is, I think the offense should be, hard to make a judgment call right now, which you said with all the transfers. I think it'll be better than last year. To me, the question mark is the defense. How good is the secondary, especially with the departure of Melo and Kobe? Yes, they brought in some older guys, but are they as good or anywhere near as good as those 2 guys? It's too early to say. I think, and I understand why they were in the others receiving votes category in the coaches poll, but I'm not, sitting ready to sit there and say they are anywhere near a top 25 team, especially because their first real test will be week 2 against Missouri.
It's crazy because we're really not that far away from their opening game. It's a week 0 matchup, which we were talking about it the other day. I don't know if Kansas has ever played in week 0 before. I think this might be the very first time. But playing Fresno State at home inside the brand new renovated David Booth Memorial Stadium. What does the process look like for the Jayhawks, knowing that basically their season kicks off a week earlier than it normally does?
Well, yeah, they started training camp a week earlier than they typically do. It's kind of gone through the same process of that. They've had 2 stadium practices in the brand new renovated stadium, I believe. And I think they're just, nothing super different. Everything is just a week earlier. Training camp started a week earlier. They'll be done by this Saturday with training camp. Next Thursday will be media day. And we'll be back to seeing Kansas in action. And I think it's going to be awesome to kind of see. But nothing has super changed with that. And I think, having those stadium practices, the walkthroughs have the opportunity to kind of get used to the lighting situation, get used to everything, how the stadium looks, which I think is huge.
Let's talk a little hoops here. Shreyas, of course, all the news lately has been about Bill Self's health, which by all accounts is okay now. What is the latest with that? Is he back full go here, or is it going to take some time? What do you know?
Well, he met with a recruit a couple days ago, just a few days after he got some stents inserted. So I think that's a pretty positive sign in that sense of, he's back to as much you can be Bill Self. Obviously something to monitor. I wrote in a story a few days ago about the stents and insertion. It's a pretty common procedure. I know I've talked to some medical friends in medical school and who are doctors. They had told me there are people who have 10 plus stents. And I got some reader emails who told me there's somebody, their 87-year-old neighbor has 10 stents and is 300 pounds, so they're not worried because Bill Self has a couple of stents. So, I think obviously it's something to pay attention to because it is mostly, caused by stress or diet stuff that can help prevent that. But it's not something that is going to be like, oh my God, this is the reason why Bill Self is not here right now. He seems to be back to normal for the most part. It's a pretty normal procedure. Until something else happens or something changes, I think Bill Self should be good to go and ready to go by the season starting.
It's interesting because I think just a couple of days before he went to the hospital and had stents inserted, he did an interview with Andy Katz, a pretty long, wide-ranging interview with Andy Katz, and talked quite a bit about how the last couple of years he was dealing with health issues and wasn't 100%. And we all know about, him having to sit out the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago and all of that. But it sounds like the health issues for him had lingered for quite a while, where he was not 100%. And so in that interview with Andy Katz, he's talking about how he finally feels like he's ready to go and back to where he needs to be. And then just a couple days later, we find out he's in the hospital. Do you anticipate, does this change anything for him long-term in his mind? I mean, I know it's hard or impossible to get into his own mind to know what his thought process is on his longevity and his future and all of that. But I would imagine things like this certainly could play some kind of role in a decision down the road.
I absolutely expect it to play some sort of role. I think maybe it pushes the timeline up a year. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you had 2 years left, and now after what happened, it's now only 1 year. It's hard to sit there and say because we have no idea what the future kind of tells with his health and what he's thinking about and how he feels the rest of the year. I don't want to speculate too much just because it is about his health. But we all knew since 2023, Bill Self was not going to be around forever. He was not going to be here into his late 70s. He wasn't going to do that. And I think that's, an event like this is a reminder for Kansas fans and anyone who appreciates good basketball that, Bill Self isn't going to be in Lawrence coaching forever. I think we've understood that by hiring Jacques. Maybe he's not the head coach in waiting, but it's clear that they want somebody experienced who has NBA experience to be ready to take over for Bill Self if the time comes to it. And he's going to be a front runner for that job unless they want to hire external, which they could. They could hire younger external. It just depends on who they want, right? Like there's a few names that everyone threw out there. Nate Oates, Todd Golden. I think those are the two guys everyone would look at if you're a Kansas fan. But who knows if those guys even leave the programs they're at.
Well, how does real quick, Shreyas, because I know they've been able and allowed to get some work in. What have you heard about this group of Jayhawks coming in this year?
Yeah, Darren Peterson has looked as good as advertised. Samis Calderon looks a little better than people expected. El Marco and Bryson continue to recover and rehab from their injuries and try to get back to normal. I think Cole Rosario is the name that Bill's talked about it. Cole has looked good, really good. And he could play a bit of a role, maybe not as big as, you would have hoped, but I think he could play a role for Kansas off the bench this season.
Okay. Well, we're excited about it. We're excited about college basketball season and college football season. That's going to be here real quick. So I hope we're ready for week 0 and the Jayhawks and all the things. After week 0, we'll have lots of questions. Until then, we're kind of like, I don't even know what to ask because it's so much new stuff. But we're looking forward to it. You can follow Shreyas' work at the KC Star. You can follow along at SHRE98 on X. Shreyas, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
There goes Shreyas Laddha on this Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. Yeah, Bill Self is, I think he's going to be okay in the short term. It is common. That's just, family stuff. Like the stents are not a bad thing. The stents can get in there pretty in a day surgery and everything else. So hopefully avoided something serious. But yeah, we don't like seeing our sports figures humanized, right? They're supposed to be there forever doing what they do, and that's a part of it. And I'm excited to see him back out there this year, and hopefully he's good to go for this year and however many years he decides he wants to keep doing it.
I do think that even in the short term, it's an underrated move. And I know there was attention about it at the time, but an underrated move to bring on Jacques Vaughn to join the coaching staff, because Norm Roberts retired and he was the guy when Bill Self couldn't coach. He was kind of that, interim guy to lead things, run things when there were issues. And so moving forward, you needed a guy like that. And it's not a knock on anybody else on that coaching staff, but they needed a Norm Roberts-esque guy with head coaching experience, whatever, to be on the bench in the event of him needing to fill in from time to time. And so I think that's a good contingency in the short term. And it's interesting, Shreyas mentioning that when that time comes for Bill Self to step away, more than likely Jacques Vaughn will at least be considered.
Yeah, and if it's hopefully it's later than sooner, right, for Bill Self's sake.
Absolutely.
But the longer Vaughn has to be with him, I would say increases his chances of that being a possibility. Right now, and I've told you this, you've got to put in some serious reps in college back. College and the NBA are so different, especially going, from the NBA down. Going the other way seems a little easier, but there's just the recruiting piece and all that, the administrative stuff. Anyway, hopefully Bill Self coaches for a long time, and hopefully he gets right back to his successful ways. We'll come back. We got more Sports Daily. Don't go away.